The funding for this video is provided by the amazing members of my Patreon. Also contributions from viewers like you. Thank you. Yeah, I started from PBS Kids. What you gonna do? Fight me? Anyway, roll the video.
Shego, give me a beat. Yes, Shego. Give me a beat, Shego. Shego! Fine.
Hey, do you think Shego is hot?
Yeah, I think she's pretty.
We're going out tonight. The scene is out of sight. Gonna get my girls together. We'll be feeling alright. We're gonna move through the crowd. Come on, boys, get loud. 'Cause when the music starts bumping, the whole place will be jumping. It's my scene, my scene. You know what I mean. It's my scene, my scene. You know what I mean. My scene.
Hello?
Yeah, is this Haryana?
Yes, but wait, is this Shego?
Yeah.
How the fuck did you get my number?
That's not important right now. So, I found out you were making a video about me,
Yeah.
and what will you be saying?
Do I really owe you an explanation? You literally snooped and found my phone number.
Watch it.
Look. Whatever. As I was saying, I will be talking about your appearance, but I am in no way, shape, or form calling you ugly. On the outside. Hi everyone, before we get started with today's subject matter, I just wanted to make a brief announcement that I am having an open casting call for my comic dub, Justice for Nino. It is a miraculous fan comic show that I have going on and I'm very excited, but I do need some more voice actors. So the rules here are that you have to be 18 or older and you must be black or a biracial black person, meaning that you are half black. You must be comfortable with mature themes such as depression, violence, and gore, and all of that. And then you also must be comfortable with profanity, using it, and being in a project involved with that. For more information, the link will be down below. And no, you do not need acting experience to audition. So link will be down below for signups. Signups close March 6th, and that is when the audition process will begin. Thank you. Now let's continue with today's video. Hi, before we get started, I have a few little announcements that I would like to make because this is my channel and I can do that. My new book, No One Ruined Your Childhood, is now available for purchase on my website, haryanahook.com. You can use code HOTSPOT30 for 30% off when you purchase. It will be available in physical copy, digital copy, and then also as an audiobook. And if you want to know what this book is about, it's basically how a lot of y'all be telling me that I'm ruining your childhood, and I'm really not. But basically, it's a very educational book talking about the issues that lie within children and family entertainment. And we talk about some heavy, dark subjects, as we do talk about the subject of eating disorders and racism, of course. So if you guys are interested in checking out my book, my website, haryanahook.com, will be linked down below. And then also, I have a few new products that are on my website. This amphibia hat that I am wearing right here, bedazzled that myself, and also with this amphibia hoodie that I'm wearing right now. You guys can't really see the colors well because of the lighting going on in here at the moment, but I will have some insert pictures in here for you guys to see. But that is pretty much all the little announcements. And also one more, I have a new podcast, by the way. Yeah, y'all been asking about my podcast. I just started a new one because I just honestly wasn't feeling the other one, but it's called An Animated Female Unhinged, where I basically explore the, depths and the issues that go into a lot of female cartoon characters that I find entertaining, but They ain't something right about them. But the first episode is an introduction to the series, and then the second one will be covering the subject of Charlotte and Angelica Pickles from the series Rugrats and All Grown Up. So make sure you guys check that out. Now let's actually get into today's subject matter. Also, I forgot to mention, I did add other like stuff to the store. Like there's other beanies, like there's a Evie beanie, and then there's a Cat Noir beanie. So yeah, okay, let's go back. So since I was a little girl, I have always cared about both real life people and fictional characters, and I like to see the good in everyone, unfortunately. And this is because of me being sensitive. But my sensitivity is why I knew since I was little that I wanted to create entertainment, because I love different stories about different people, just people, I'd say, and nothing much more to that, because I never really cared about talking animals other than Scooby-Doo, and that's a bit of a stretch because I did not watch all them damn movies for that dog. Like, I watched them for Fred and I watched them for Daphne. And I didn't really watch That's So Raven for Raven's visions. I just watched them because I liked Raven and her family as people. But as I have changed so much as time has passed, my feelings towards fictional characters I grew up with changed just as well. I constantly think back to the last Airbender with the character Ty Lee, as I hated Ty Lee because during my childhood I had it pretty rough and realized that I was in situations that she was in. Like, people were awful to me a lot, and like how she was being basically brutalized by Azula. Azula was not a good friend to her. I had friends that were like that, and it just broke me because there was a scene where Zuko was just yelling at her and just telling her about herself, and it honestly hurt my feelings. And mainly it broke me because I realized that she was a lot like me. And because I didn't really like who I was at that time, I ended up hating Ty Lee because of that. And I took my anger out on her because I was ashamed of who I was, and I was ashamed that I kept people around me that treated me horribly and encouraged me to do bad things. But as an adult, because I had those similarities to Ty Lee and I still have them now, I really do like her character. And part of that change has to do with the fact that I no longer hate myself. Now, Shego, on the other hand, Shego is one of those characters I feel very different about now that I am grown than I was when I was younger, because it wasn't really a like or dislike situation with her. I just never really cared about her. But I now just kind of feel a bit bad for her. And when I finally started to pay more attention to her as a person instead of just comic relief and a plot device, and now I pity her a bit. I absolutely do. So one of my favorite actors of all time is Thomas Doherty, and he's very talented at what he does, and I noticed that he plays this kind of specific niche of character very well. That guy's that's not all that great of a person, but he just has a lot of fun being that way, and the kind of person who just simply doesn't give a fuck about anything, but is also slightly sensitive to a certain extent. Thomas Doherty is an actor that I truly feel puts his all into his performance, no matter how lackluster the script is. Descendants 3. But Thomas Doherty will make sure to give you a show. As someone whose catalog mainly consists of people of color when it comes to, you know, entertainers, I gotta give him his flowers. He's great. He's not mediocre like a lot of these other white entertainers out here. But also, one thing about Thomas Doherty, if you sing the man, you sing the man. I gotta say it. I have to state the obvious. The man is fine. Like, he's fine as hell. He's beautiful. Okay? He's not hard on the eyes at all. And I'd be lying if I said that so much of the appeal of Thomas Doherty's acting has to do with the fact that he's very pretty to look at. But also, how I feel about Thomas Doherty is how I think a lot of people feel about Shego, because they both have the same level of desirability that makes people like them. That being, people like to look at them. We have a very physically attractive person that we enjoy watching doing bad things. Cause let's be fucking for real, y'all are much easier on villains when you, yes you, find them attractive. And speaking of attractive, so many people find like what is attractive to be like rooted in bigotry, because like that being racism, but yeah, there's like a big one right there, but then also like colorism, fat phobia, ableism. And I say one movie I think where I see most people can like strongly dislike the villain would have to be Quentin Tarantino's Death Proof. Unlike most people, Death Proof is my favorite Quentin Tarantino film, but when we bring up the villain in the story, Stuntman Mike, it's like the movie goes out of your way for you to see him as undesirable. Like, his outfits are plain, the scenes where he is like sloppily eating them nachos was nasty as hell, and the other women in the story have made it clear that they do not find him attractive and were very much creeped out by him. And not to say anything negative about the actor's looks, because that's a tad bit rude, as this is a person and not a fictional character. And I'm gonna be honest, women find Kurt Russell to be attractive. Like, he's been with the same woman since the 80s. He's been with another woman before. So, yeah, not insulting this dude's looks whatsoever. But Death Proof goes out of your way to make Stuntman Mike, not Kurt Russell, as undesirable as possible. Like, first, he's way older than all the women that he was creeping on. And then also, the film industry is elitist as hell. Oftentimes, if your job on set in the film production isn't an actor, director, producer, people look down upon you. I'm just gonna be honest. Sometimes I left out the costume department and I left out the writers, because the film industry treats writers and the fashion department like ass. Like, let's just keep it a buck. I've seen it in person. But outside of those big three, those jobs are seen as like less important, and that's just a lie. But moving back to him, he has this ugly ass hairstyle that's just very dated to the 70s and the 80s, and I can't stand it. Like, it's ugly as hell. I can't do it. And also, he licks one of the women's feet. No, he did. And like, remember when I brought up like the nacho thing? You could hear what was going on in his mouth. It was honestly really nasty, okay? But moving back to Kim Possible, with Shego, they don't do that with her. The only time I'd say that Shego was like explicitly gross and unattractive was the episode where she was sick in bed. She was sneezing all over the place. That was disgusting. Again, with Shego, within the series, it's clear that people find her to be attractive, but also Shego has numerous physical traits about her that people associate with beauty. So let's push Shego's behavior and personality to the side and just focus on her appearance right here. Shego is a skinny woman with a small waist and has that hourglass figure that many women and those assigned female at birth desire to have. Shego is racially ambiguous. You literally cannot tell what she is. And oftentimes growing up, I saw people say that they thought Shego was black, while others would say that she looked like she was of mixed race, or Asian. I hate to say it, I hope I don't sound ridiculous, but y'all, that woman is white. No, lady, that's a white lady. Like, I know how we have our head canons and stuff like that about what a character's race is and all that, because I be doing that. But y'all, it's actually canon that Shego's white. The live action movie confirmed it. But because she's green and has like dark hair and big lips, she is what a lot of people consider to be racially ambiguous. Like, y'all know the way the black fishing girls on Instagram look like? She resembles that a bit. And I'm gonna say it, she's drawn through the male gaze. That's literally the fucking truth. The women in Quentin Tarantino's Death Proof do not look too far off from her. And while the movie did feature black women, they were all, very much slim, appealing to like, society's beauty standards. Scratch that. Black women and women of color, because there were other like women of color in it too. I don't want to act like I'm leaving them out. And the Disney company just has a long history of just doing this with their female characters. Now, just because Shego is a character from the TV animation department of Disney and not the super duper big budget theatrical animated movies, does not mean that she's exempt from that. Because if you compare her appearance to a Disney princess, she's not that far off. And this is a combination of animation being a very male-dominated field of work, and that is reflected here on YouTube, because there are way more men on this platform that make videos about animation than women. But now let's like push Shego's looks to the side and talk about her as a person beyond her looks, because there's just so much to unpack here. And like, while she's a terrible person, I do feel bad for her, and she's a bit of a loser, and I just want to explain why. Hi everyone, the captain here. I just wanted to get on here real quick and tell you guys thank you so much for your support. I have gotten so much fan art from you guys, and I've met plenty of y'all in person at the conventions that I have been at. And also thank you guys so much for coming to the panels that I host. It means so much to me. You guys are so great. I appreciate every little last bit of support you guys give me. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I can say thank you 100 times, but I truly do mean it. Thank you. So, what is my relationship with Shego? Before I move forward, me saying that Shego's a loser is not necessarily a bad thing because one, she's a fictional character, but because I think female characters should be allowed to be complex, and if she were a perfect little angel, Shego would not be as interesting to watch. And I'm someone who doesn't really care too much about main fictional characters, especially main white fictional characters. And as I see that this hasn't changed much because I recently watched The Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur pilot, amazing, highly recommend. But that pilot literally was a reminder that main characters are just not for me. I'm telling y'all, I cannot stand that white lady in Moon Girl. And what she did to that community, what she did was foul. I don't like her. I don't have to like her. I don't care what anyone says. I don't care how well written she was. And before anyone tries to say, oh, that's the point of her character, shut up. I'm allowed to express if I like a villain or not, just like the rest of you. Moving back to Shego. Shego is the kind of character I'd say is a scene stealer, because whenever she pops up, like the attention just like focuses on her. And part of it has to do with the fact that she's actually very freaking hilarious. One of the funniest moments from this series come from her, or when she's with Draken, or from Draken too, who is pretty funny just as well. And when I was a kid, I didn't really care for her like that. Like she was just there. Like she was just there for me. But now that I'm grown, it's very enjoyable to just watch her be bad. And Shego is not one of those characters that pretends to be kind, but she's just actually very nasty on the inside. She's nasty overall to everyone, and she's aware of that. Like, is Shego a good person? Hell no. Hell to the motherfucking no. Is she a good character? Yes. Shego is what many would consider to be a girl boss. And I don't necessarily agree with that. I think she's more of an iconic girl failure. But like I said, Shego is an iconic girl failure. And now quick, like for the algorithm, comment your favorite girl failure down below. Like I'll go ahead and tell you guys mine. Mine is Natalie Sedker. I love her, but I have to be honest with myself. She's a girl failure. Nicole Waterson's a girl failure too. I adore her, girl failure. And Bridget from Total Drama. Those are my 3 girl failures. Comment your favorite down below. I genuinely want to know. Back on topic. So let's actually pull up the definition of what a girl boss actually is. According to Urban Dictionary, girl boss is a term used to describe a woman who is self-made, running her own business, and acts as their own boss. The concept of a girl boss is becoming highly publicized over time through the internet use of social media and women's ability to create online stores and cultivate their own businesses. The term itself sounds great. However, over time, it seems to have taken a negative turn. It seems girl boss has become a joke at the expense of ambitious women trying to create their own path in the world. Women need to be aware of this timeline and recognize how a phrase meant to empower women can be warped into the butt of a joke. Now, when people want to talk about shego in like that aspect, like the negatives of what comes along with a girl boss, I can see that. But here, another part in this article, it lists off things that actually, before girl boss became bastardized, this is what a girl boss actually is. The question then becomes, what are the core aspects of a girl boss? Karen Snyder of 2016 blog article says that there are 12 ways to make sure you're becoming a #girl boss, not a mean girl. The list is as follows. 1. Knows what you want and how to ask for it. 2. Have ambition and always set and reevaluate goals. 3. Respect yourself and your body. 4. Be confident in yourself and your abilities. 5. Focus on the future, not the past. 6. Be considerate of all people. 7. Know your only competition is the reflection in the mirror. 8. Avoiding gossip or bragging. 9. Knowing when to be a bitch and when to be a lady. 10. Keep private matters private. 11. Recognize that happiness is a choice. It's one you must make every day. And 12. Support and empower other females. I don't know who need to hear this, but that is not shego. Shego does not own a business, and by the way, you don't need to have an LLC to be a girl boss, but many of them do. But do y'all see that the kind of business she's working for, specifically the kind of man she works for? No, it's not giving girl boss behavior, but then also she's a horrible leader. She does not know how to talk to people. She talks hella shit. Horrible to work with, and guess what? She loses in like every episode. She's kind of a loser. No, she is a loser. Now, what actually makes shego a loser? So one of my key things about shego that has changed my perspective on her is the fact that she lives with Draken. And I never caught a gasp to the fact that she lived with him when I was younger. And I feel like because this is a kid's show and they don't want to make that explicitly clear, at least not often, because it was mentioned like one time I remember, like in my reviewing of the series, but it can be seen as taboo for a woman to live with a man that she's not dating. And even with that, with some people, they still see it as iffy if a man and woman are living together and they aren't married. But mind you, I'm speaking from a very straight perspective right now, so like bear with me. But this is the only time during this era of family entertainment where I really saw this kind of household dynamic, because at the time these series that were on air, it was like a man and woman living together and they were married. But now, as like family entertainment has changed slowly, we are starting to see different kinds of households and relationships within them. Like we are finally starting to see families with like 2 moms and like 2 dad households. And like shout out to Moon Girl and DuckTales and High School Musical, the musicals, the series for featuring that in there. And also, by the way, because I just thought about Hey Arnold, because he didn't really live in a conventional household, but he lived with his grandparents who were married. But I do appreciate how Kim Possible had this aspect in the series, because at that time period, we saw this like in adult shows. We really hadn't thought much of it because let's be honest, nobody said much of anything about this with New Girl. And Kim Possible is a series that has an interesting approach to adulthood because we get to see a non-traditional household, and things like this in this world do exist. And as these kinds of things do exist in the world, like yes, people do live with their bosses. Yes, people do live with their coworkers. And yes, people live with people that treat them horribly, but they kind of don't really have much choice but to stay. Well, isn't that like somebody else we all know and love on the pirate ship? Draken said in passing in front of other people that she did live with him, and I'm pretty sure that she's not paying rent, like he's paying the bills. He most likely paid for that vacation she went on when she needed to get away from him. But also, Draken's house didn't really look like a home, it looked like a lab, and I think that was another way they were able to get away with this. Okay, editing me here. I went to go fetch a picture of Draken's home, and oh my, how did I forget this? But I forgot that him and Shego live in the Caribbeans, and y'all know the Caribbeans basically are like full of people of color. What are y'all white asses doing there? Colonizing? I'm telling you, Kim Possible is so damn questionable at times. Another topic for another discussion. I just needed to put that in there. Because y'all, Disney censorship is hard. I saw the creator of Gravity Falls talking about how Disney would not let a lot of those things that he wanted to put within the series slide. And it was some of the most like basic shit. And I was just like, you can't say poo. What? But also, why did she live with him? And the answer is simple. She fucked up. It's obvious that Draken has money, like pulling from context clues, like looking at everything that be going on, he probably scamming too. But then I swear that electric bill in that house has to be higher than a rock star on crack in the 70s. I'm just being for real, okay? Like y'all know how people used to say that in like the light bill in the house in Dexter's Laboratory had to be higher than Wiz Khalifa? Yeah, that's how the electric bill was in their house. But Draken sucks, but he was like really nice enough to let her live with him because he was fully aware she most likely ain't had nowhere else to go. She a criminal, but Draken does have Shego live in his house for his personal benefit, as she's literally his right-hand woman. And if Shego wasn't helping him commit crimes, he most likely would kick her out. But thinking of like Shego's given circumstances, and that's something that a lot of people seem to fail when they're talking about fictional characters, the given circumstances in their situations. She's estranged from her family. She doesn't really have any friends outside of Senor, who does not count. That name is a problem with both race and ethnicity, but that is another issue we're gonna talk about with Kim Possible on another day, because y'all gotta own up to the fact that this show racially insensitive, and it's not good. Like, it's a great show, but like when it's racially insensitive. But I hate to say it, I hope I don't sound ridiculous, because I can't stand this entire thing where he's like, he's all I have. Draken is all that Shego has. She low-key did that to herself because her family didn't tell her to leave. But also, we have to talk about what her family did. We'll be back to that in a second. But it's the fact that Draken is all that she has. It is not surprising that they were revealed to be romantically involved at the end of the series. Like, to be honest, the signs were there. The signs were very much there. But also, paying attention to her and Draken's relationship, I started to notice one other thing about her. Like, she's really smart and like really talented. She has a college degree. Like, the girl's not a dumbass. Like, Shego has all these things about her that would most likely give her like the American dream, the so-called one. But you know, supposedly the American dream. She has the looks, she has the braids, she has the certifications and the training to do numerous things that pay decently. But she ended up using all of that for bad. So it's low-key pointless in this series because she rarely has any second thoughts about much of anything she does, and that she's always throwing hands with Kim and Ron. She's an awful person. Now, why do I feel bad for her? It was mentioned briefly that the reason that Shego is the way she was because of an accident that happened with her, where her and her family were hit by a rainbow and they ended up getting supernatural powers. That's why she's green, and that's why she can shoot green shit out of her hands, like Starfire a bit. But Starfire's not green though. She has green eyes though. But mind you, Shego did not ask for that shit to happen to her. And just like next thing you know, she was expected to help others because of these powers. And that is what resulted into her turning into villainy. And for those of you guys who tried to say that I made this shit up, no, like literally, this is how I know a lot of y'all do not be rewatching a lot of your like childhood shows. There's literally an entire episode about her and her family. All the shit was stated. But Shego's turn to villainy was just a bit of a sign of rebellion because she felt as though she had control of her life that way. And when you pay attention to Shego, you can pick up on how smart and talented she is. And like I mentioned earlier, she could have been so great. She most definitely could have, but she ruined it. She used her skills for bad, her stank ass attitude, and now she can barely undo much of anything because her reputation is fucked. Like, you know how a lot of these music artists have problematic views and it comes out within their songs? Like, you're too talented to be doing this shit. As talented as a lot of these rappers are, they be saying some of the most colorist shit. Like, I like a lot of female rappers, but some of them lyrics, I'd be like, girl, you most likely should not have said that. But I don't want to like get on female rappers today because they get enough shit. So we gonna talk shit about Issa. But in the remix to Like 'Em All, it's basically a Jacob Lattimore song. If you know about like that black renaissance of like black pop stars during like the early 2010s, it was everything. But Issa falls into that same category. He is this dude that has these green hazel eyes and these locks. But Issa says what he likes in the song, because basically the song Like 'Em All is basically about how they like all the girls out here. They like them all. They don't discriminate. But he like proceeds to like name his preference. He says, I like them all. Yeah, I like them all. Red, bald, hair long, short, even tall. This fucker was colorist and he didn't even realize it. You don't like them all. You just like the women that are light skinned, have long hair that's most likely hers and not weave, because a lot of dudes discriminate against women that wear weaves and wigs and braids and sew-ins, fake hair extensions, basically, over those who prefer to grow their real hair. And then also when it comes to their real hair, they also be very much texturous and discriminatory to that just as well, because they be like, oh, I want you to wear your real hair, but I also want your real hair to be long, but also I want your real hair to be straightened. And then if your real hair is curly, it can't be too curly. Like, y'all are weird. Blackness really does scare y'all. But also I have to mention, I really hate the fact that I'm bringing her back up, but I legit could not stop thinking about her when I was putting this video together. I mentioned her on this channel before a few times because her story just makes me so sad. Like how Shego makes me so sad, and it makes me so sad. Like I said, I'm the type of person that I am so empathetic. I am literally so sensitive. I hate the fact that I still see the good in people no matter what the fuck they did, but it makes me so sad because I really did look up to this woman, and she's one of the people who inspired me to be an entrepreneur. And that is she's literally a real life definition of a girl failure. She's not a girl failure because her business shut down. By the way, you're not a girl failure if your business shuts down. I understand. Businesses are hard. It's fucking difficult. I completely understand. But we're talking about Atira Lyons. Atira. Some of y'all be calling her the do-rag lady. Y'all be calling her the do-rag girl. But Atira Lyons, in my opinion, is a prime example of a talented person who ended up using her skills for bad. And her nasty ass attitude got in the way of so much. So many of y'all really be blocking your blessings because guess what? The attitude stank. But also she was a terrible entrepreneur, meaning that she was a horrible leader. She was rude as shit, not just to her coworkers, but to her customers and her family. Anyway, when it comes to the subject of business, being rude is a no-no. Like, a lot of these very talented entrepreneurs like Atira, they're not much different from her. And I'm someone who goes to cons every so often, and a lot of these fuckers in the dealers and in the artist alley are not nice people, like absolutely fucking not. And the people they have working for them do not be nice either. Some of y'all may be nice, but your family members that you have helping you at your booth don't be nice, and they be driving away customers. I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. Y'all gotta do better about the people that you choose to bring with you at your booths. I think respect goes both ways, that while the owner should be respectful, I think the customer should be respectful just as well. But you, the CEO, should always be kind. And I kid you not, like some of these entrepreneurs I have met have some of the most beautiful art, but because they were so nasty towards me when I went to their table, they did not get a penny from me. You can have the talent, you can have the qualifications, but if you don't know how to act right, that will ruin so much for you. Like, I know how people be getting online laughing about how they've gotten fired from like multiple places before and shit, but like when they go into detail, yeah, I can see why you always be getting fired. You're difficult to work with. You're not Usher. You can't have it your way. So as I have made that comparison with Atira to Shego, Atira's story is something that's very interesting to listen to because of how wild it is. A shout out to the YouTube channel Fab Socialism. Y'all really should go check out Tiana's work. She's amazing, but she has a 3-part series about like the rise and fall of Atira and the Atira Lyons brand. Basically had a bad attitude, blocked a lot of her blessings, but also, I kid you not, it's so interesting to sit down and listen to. Hey y'all, it's me from the editing room. I look too crunchy right now to get on camera, so y'all gonna get like a voiceover. But speaking of Tiana's channel, she speaks a lot like about like black entrepreneurship, and I feel like this is where like a lot of this downfall and like the rise of the gaslight gatekeep girl boss meme comes from, because white people use that meme all the time. But I notice when people are talking about like the downfall of like entrepreneurs and whatnot, So many of this comes from like the Black community, and then even then I wouldn't really say the Black community, but people whose product and brand overall caters to the Black community. Because I recently was watching her most recent upload about Cell Duval and her brand, and a lot of people were speaking up talking about how her brand offers customer service and how she's not nice and all of that shit. And here's the deal about like something that I just personally do not understand about a lot of entrepreneurs, because I'm an entrepreneur, I run a small business, I like, you know, sell products and shit like that. But like one thing that always trips me out is when they be talking about how they like do not be responding to emails or DMs or shit like that. Let me tell you, when I get emails from my customers, like if there's like an issue going on with someone's order or whatnot, because I ain't perfect, I make mistakes, I get it, I understand. And a lot of people like work with me because they understand I'm dealing with a lot of my personal life. Like I'm too depressed to get on camera right now. That's why I'm doing a voiceover. But I literally respond to emails as soon as I get them, telling people, hey, this is going on with your order. Hey, I'm so sorry that I ended up leaving out an item that you ordered. I will get it shipped out to you when I can. Like, it literally is not hard to have decent customer service. That is something that I don't fucking understand with a lot of these entrepreneurs. And like I said, I'm not perfect. I make mistakes. I do be having fuck ups and shit like that. But like, you know, I take responsibility. I own up to it. I will never fully understand this thing that so many entrepreneurs have where they're just nasty as hell to their customers. Babies, that person literally gave you money. Please be kind. And then it's just something else that like takes me out about this is that how so many of them be so nasty towards their customers. They done already spent the money. Like I tell you not, they have spent that money. That's part of the reason why they don't be responding and they expect them to like forget or whatnot. But like no, like so many of them have horrible customer service. They don't respond to emails. They do not even like update the customers about what's going on, because I know I have a shego set. Funny that we're talking about her, but I have this shego set that I have for my shop, and I explicitly stated from the beginning, hey, this is going to be on pre-order because these things are, you know, a bit little expensive to make, so I'm going to put them on pre-order, and you know, when I get enough orders through pre-order, I will get them shipped out. And I was like, most likely in the beginning of 2023 I will most likely ship you guys your stuff out, basically saying the stuff will be in production and your stuff will be getting sent to you. Basically, yeah, the shego set's now in production. I went ahead and contacted everyone that ordered one, telling them, hey, the set is now in production. I will give you updates. You should be, you know, getting the tracking order soon in the weeks to come, maybe a month. We'll see. I will keep you updated. And there even was a situation with the Mary crop top where my vendor, some miscommunication happened and they just did not like it. They ended up sending my stuff way later than it was supposed to. So I contacted my customers about that and told them, hey, this is going on with your order. I deeply do apologize. And then there was another situation where I was trying to wait for my thank you cards to come, because I hate that. I hate like just giving my customers something and not like, you know, telling them thank you. But literally the place that I ordered my thank you cards from, they lost them in the mail. Literally didn't get them until like this, like, mind you, this was back in November. I didn't get these shits until like the beginning of February, because I actually contacted them telling them about these cards. I literally contacted my customers, told them, I am so sorry it's taking you a bit longer for you guys to get your products. I will go ahead and start shipping these things out. The main reason I didn't do it is because I didn't get the thank you cards. It's literally not that hard. Like, running a business is hard. I'll go ahead and say that shit. But it's literally not that hard to be kind and respectful towards your customers. I'm sorry, this is just a big fat ass pet peeve of mine that I just genuinely have. And then seeing everything that happened with Sol Duvall's brand, and then seeing a lot of people go off talking about the terrible customer service, it's just upsetting. Like, customer service, decent customer service is the least you can do. It's literally the least you can do. I kid you not. Okay, I went on for far too long going off about this shit right here, but yeah, we need nicer people being entrepreneurs. Long story short. Okay, bye-bye. And I say this shit because it's beyond Atira, because there's a lot of other like small black owned businesses or just businesses ran by people of color, because Cell is very much racially ambiguous. It's like, it goes on a lot with like this community where people talk about it takes them forever to get their order. And I understand, like, it's a small business. I get it. It takes me a minute to get the stuff shipped out. But like, also, I do try my best to make sure I keep in contact with my customers. I make sure I make a post on my Instagram page telling people what's going on with their orders and shit like that. And I bought from numerous Black-owned businesses in the past. Lots of them are very much nice, respectful to Black-owned businesses. I can recommend where the customer service is actually good is Fine Girl Official and Hello Black Child. Love those two brands down. But it's just so sad to see because, like I said, it's not just Atira that's like this. It's a lot more of these small Black-owned businesses that just do, ooh, the attitude be nasty. It's so ridiculous. This is a problem within the community. It's an open problem, and I'm glad more and more people are speaking up and talking about it, but it just genuinely makes me sad. Like, we're literally seeing the fall of the entrepreneur, and so much of it has to do with nasty ass attitudes and not knowing how to talk to people properly. All right, let's continue. But because Atira, she started off like strong and when it was just her and her family helping her business out. But as time passed, she started to treat people like shit to the point where people were leaving her side because of how terrible she became. Like, she was so brutal to the people that she had working for her. Like, she sent voice memos going off on them and everything, like telling them not to talk to her and that she didn't have to pay them or pay them more because she just simply didn't want to. Baby, that does not sound like business. That's not how business goes. But also, this sounds like something that you would see on TV, correct? But that's what makes Shego's character so great. Everything that went wrong with Atira is what made Shego so interesting. It's what made so many of us interested in Shego as a character. And I'm not gonna sit here and lie and say that Shego is a girl boss because she isn't. Shego literally got her ass whooped in every episode. Like, did y'all forget this? I kid you not. Kim Possible, you know how when you're like online and you can tell that a lot of people have not rewatched like a series, because I noticed that this is happening a lot now with the original Fresh Prince of Bel-Air and the original Proud Family. It's so fucking clear that a lot of y'all did not go and rewatch the original. It's very clear though, but a lot of y'all, it's so clear that you guys did not rewatch Kim Possible, because you would have saw that she got that ass whooped in almost every episode. Not every episode, but every so often it happened. Yeah. But also, if Shego were a girl boss, she would not be like the Shego we all know and love. The Shego we all know and love. She puts her hands on people. She speaks before she thinks. Like, she disrespects the fuck out of the man she lives with. She's really loud. She steals things. And lastly, she's creepy. Y'all don't want to admit it, but she is creepy. She needs to leave Kim alone. But like, sis has like a literal obsession with someone younger than her who is constantly like beating the fuck out of her. I'm telling you, she get that ass whooped in every episode. And then also, like, Shego has really terrible etiquette. I feel though, as like the girl boss label has changed so much because of the rise and fall of like the young entrepreneur. But because so many entrepreneurs do scam people and they do like act like Shego, so many of them are not too off from her in terms of manners. While Shego isn't a girl boss, she does fall into the gaslight, gatekeep, girl boss mean that people have for women that be scamming votes. And if you think Shego is a girl boss in that aspect, yes, but Shego is the same kind of girl boss as Pearl from the movie Pearl is. What is her name? Her name is like Lisa. She recently posted a video about like ranking girl failures. I will link it down below. But like, when I was watching her video, I was like, yeah, that literally is Shego. She falls into the girl failure category. But remember, is Shego really a girl boss? But also, she got that ass whooped in every episode. She never won. And even when she tried her hardest, she still lost. I pity this woman. I really do.
Now that you see, you should beware of the power of three. They come to fight as fast as they can. They're dangerous yet fabulous. Because the Utonium made them eschew. They are the colors of pink, green, and blue. They'll catch you in the blink of an eye and do it all before bedtime. They coming through and fighting, and everyone they're shocking. You know no one can stop them all because of the chemical X. They coming through and fighting, and everyone they're shocking. control your mind. Buttercup like villains, 3 at a time. Bubbles will smile while kicking your butt, and Blossom will lead them out of their rut. Cherish and Powerpuff, 2 of a